What's up, people? I'm headed to go have lunch with my wife, but just wanted to hop on and drop a little bit of marital advice on the ones that are married. Get my gate shut here. So basically, what I was going to say is anytime you've got a chance to take your wife out to lunch, I know everybody's schedule's busy. Some of you guys might not even be able to have the ability to do this because you're clocking in and clocking out somewhere. So you just got to make time to do it some other time. And you can't stop dating. You can't stop dating your wife. I know that sounds for the ones that aren't married, it may sound weird, and for the ones that are married, it may sound weird, but I will tell you that if you stop dating your wife and you stop getting to know her, it's going to be a problem because, like I've got 2 kids, which take up a lot of our time, right? I mean, and it is what it is. Kids are the greatest thing ever. I love my children. But my wife comes first. And sometimes prioritizing your wife over your children can be difficult. And you definitely don't want to get the kids out of the house and it's just you and your wife and you haven't put in any work in staying connected with her emotionally and staying connected with her feelings and all of those things, and now you're in this house and the kids are grown and gone and it's just you and her and you're trying to learn or relearn her. And honestly, it's like, I get it, man. It's like you get pissed off at your wife, like, I don't want to hang out with her, I'm gonna go hang out with the kids, go hang out with the the people that kind of want to be around me. That's a bad idea. All right, so if you're feeling disconnected from your wife or from your husband, I would encourage you to make amends, sit down, talk, fight fair. Don't bring up old stuff. Don't bring up past offenses. Matter of fact, if there's an offense that's been made and you've let it go longer than 3 days, you just kill it. Don't bring it up. You've waited too long. So it's the 3-day rule, which one of my mentors told me about. He's like, look, it's the Lazarus rule. Lazarus was dead in 3 days. Jesus brings him back to life. It's the same thing with an offense. Day 1, if it's bothering you, you go pray about it. Day 2, if it's bothering you still, you're praying about it, you think you need to talk to somebody, that thing's starting to stink a little bit. By day 3, if it's still bothering you, you got to go deal with it. You got to go find this person. You got to talk through it. Especially if it's your wife or your husband. If it's a friend, I would still say, especially a close friend, I would still say go deal with it. And then after day 3, if it's still bothering you and you haven't said anything, just lay it to rest. Don't bring it up. Move on. You didn't do what you needed to do. You deal with it. It's just part of my rules for fighting fairs. You can't bring up stuff that happened a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago. You can't do it, because what happens when you start doing that, guys, is you start rehashing old fights, and before you know it, you guys are so far off topic and you're not going to find resolution because you're digging up all this old junk that you should have already worked through. So don't do that. Like, figure out what you need, figure out how to deal with whatever you need to deal with right then and there. It's always the best prescription for getting through difficult times with your spouse. And I'm speaking specifically to husbands, because I can tell you, men, if real men, I'm not talking about like beta, alpha, none of that. I'm talking about sigma, like real men who don't have to scream that they're alphas. It's always weird to me. You got these guys that are like, yeah, I'm alpha. I'm whatever. I'm in the gym. I work hard. I make money. I'm the guy. It's like, well, all I see is a bunch of insecurities when guys do that. And then you got the extreme opposite, where you got these really meek, beta men who just let women run all over them, and they're just a doormat. Yeah, that's worse. But then you got men who know how to control their woman, know how to, and I'm not saying control in the sense of like, yeah, she does what I say. I'm saying control is like communicate. You've learned how to communicate efficiently with your woman. Like, you've learned how to listen and fight fair, and sometimes you just quiet. What you don't want to do is have your wife or your fiance or your girlfriend, whoever it is, offend you and you not do anything about it, and you just let it build up and then you explode. That's what I did early on, which a lot of people can probably relate to. Like, early on, my first couple of years of marriage, I was doing that. I was just like letting the things offend me, I wasn't addressing them because I didn't know how. I grew up in a broken environment. So my communication, I've had to work on my communication a lot. I had to quit lying. That's another thing for men. I think, like, you've got to stop lying. You've just got to be honest. Once you make the decision, like, no matter what, I'm telling the truth, and that's it. Like, that's free. So stop lying, take responsibility for your actions if you're in the wrong. And if you're not in the wrong, learn how to communicate the reasons why you think what you're doing or whatever you did was the correct move. I mean, I've had conversations with my wife where she thought I was doing something sideways, and then after communicating and after talking through it, she realized, like, oh, that was the right decision. Okay. So gotta fight fair is all I'm saying. Anyway, outside of that, I'm actually going to have lunch with my wife, and we're gonna talk. We're just gonna treat it like a date, like I'm going to meet my girlfriend. I'm gonna be all giddy. I'm gonna smile. That's another thing, man. You can't give your best to other people. And I just realized that I was doing this. I was giving my best to my children, to people I come in contact with, customers, people I work with, or work for me. I'm giving them my best. I'm hitting them with the smile. Hey, what's up, guy? The reason why it's easy to get into those modes is because the feedback you get from them is always positive, because they're not doing everyday life with you. They don't know the intimate details about all of your wrongdoings, right? They see the performance. What's up? They see, like, hey, let's get going. Let's stay motivated. Let's move. Let's get this project done. Let's get to the gym. Let's eat better. They see all that and they're like, oh man, this guy's got to get. With your wife, it's very different. Your wife can hurt you with a sentence. And that's what a lot of men don't know how to handle, is that sometimes my wife can speak something to me and it cut me deep, but maybe I needed it. And sometimes I don't, and she just does it out of spite. Those situations are handled very differently. You can't always react. You don't want to be reactive, right? You want to be proactive. You want to respond in a way that is going to be loving, even if you're getting hurt. And you want to make her feel like you've heard her, even if what she's doing is wrong. So, like, if she's yelling at me, one of the greatest lines I've ever heard was, you can yell as loud as you want and still be wrong. Right? And we see that all the time. Like, I mean, you look at just the last election. Donald Trump, boy, won. Whoop whoop. That's right. He got my vote. But you see like all these people online just absolutely losing it. It's because they weren't raised to be able to communicate. They definitely don't know how to debate anything, because there is no debate. It's like, if you don't agree with me, you're wrong and I'm not talking to you. Well, if that's the case, like, I don't want to talk to you anyway. Like, you're probably not somebody I want to waste my time and energy on. Like, if you can't listen to other people's viewpoints, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, and be able to communicate yours clearly, right? That's what debates are supposed to do. And we're always debating somebody. Like, we're always making decisions. So even with my wife, I'm talking to her and we're in a debate of a certain particular situation or offense. Like, if I just react, right, and I'm yelling and I'm, you're there and I'm talking down and like, it gets us nowhere. I'm very guilty of it. So don't hear this and think like, oh, he thinks he's got it all together, because I don't. Like, it's taken me a long time to be able to cultivate a memory bank, a system in my mind that when this happens, it goes off and it's like, okay, we're communicating differently from this point forward. And it's something that you got to work on, just like everything else in life. It takes time, patience, and it takes you being very conscious and aware of recognizing when those situations happen. So anyway, that's kind of my little spiel here. And I wanted to back into that parking place, but I got this person like riding me. So I'm going to do this one. You're going to have to get off of me, man. You're going to have to wait. Look at this. Look how close this dude is to me. That's all right, though. He doesn't seem like he's too big in a hurry. Appreciate you. Okay. All right, I'm here. I'll hit you guys up when I get back and tell you how my date goes.